In a world where nothing makes sense, listen as Dre and Ron try to do just that. Welcome to Augmented Reality.
Yeah, man. Well, we got an interesting one today, man. Come in, kick your feet up, grab a drink. Let's talk. You know what I'm saying? Today we got an interesting show. Just like I said, man, we got our homeboy Puka on the show. You know, as always. You know, I'm Dre. That's Ron. You know what I'm saying? So let's jump right into it, man.
Oh, hold on. Damn, can I say something this week?
Nah, man, you can't say shit.
Welcome, Puka, man. As you see, I was trying to explain you this guy can get long-winded. He just ran through the whole you did. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to the show. Let's get going, man.
You know what really grinds my gears? You, America. Fuck you.
Man, so this week, Whoopi Goldberg got suspended for some Holocaust, comments that she had made. In the past, she's been like the biggest component for canceling folks. And all she do is get a suspension. Now she needs to be canceled, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if she black. I don't care if she on The View. I don't care how much money she brings in. She needs to be canceled. You know what I'm saying? She been the advocate for canceling people for years. And now she only gets a 2-week suspension? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, it's this double standard, man. You know what I'm saying? And she living off this Black Lives Matter stuff, man. Fuck all that shit, bro. She need to be canceled. She need to be canceled, bro.
I say stop canceling everybody, man. But I hear what you said. Stop the double standard. Either you're going to cancel everybody, you know what I'm saying, or you ain't going to cancel nobody, right? Like, I didn't hear all the interactions that went on, but, like, I'm probably gonna say something to you during this episode that's gonna make you want to cancel me. You know what I'm saying? Or put me on suspension.
Nah, bro, I
You
don't get in
went the
my
whole
feelings like
opening.
that.
You went the whole opening of our episode. You know what I'm saying? Didn't even really acknowledge your boy. So
I did,
but
man. Come on, bro. Don't do me like that, man. Anyway, what's
whatever.
going on with your voice, man?
What you mean? Oh, my voice mic on? Ah, there we go. My
This
bad.
time I'm thinking it's a button voice.
Man, I done hit buttons with my arm.
Hey, I wanted to say something, but I was like, nah. I was like, man, maybe he'll notice it. But nah, okay. Anyway, so man, what you think about that, Pope? About the Whoopi Goldberg thing, man?
I mean, she said some incredibly stupid shit, right? Her position that the Holocaust wasn't about race when Jew is technically a race, right? So, I mean, she said some stupid shit. Should people lose all their livelihood because they say stupid shit? Yeah, but
They
she
shouldn't.
said some stupid shit.
They shouldn't. But she didn't cost so many people their livelihood by leading the pitchfork rally and having these people canceled. You know what I'm saying? Like karma comes back on you, bro, and she needs to be the karma to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not for anybody losing their job because of how they feel or what they say. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Whatever we live in the land of the free, the home of the brave. We have the Constitution that gives us the right to the right to free speech. You know what I'm saying? So we should be able to say whatever we want to. But I'm not for people losing their livelihoods. But she didn't cost so many people their livelihoods that she needs to be dealt with accordingly.
I just wanted to add one thing is like everybody always quote the First Amendment, but they don't really quote the whole thing. Yes, there's freedom of speech, but there are limitations within the First Amendment. Like it can't be offensive. It can't like I remember the case of Two Live Crew back in the early '90s that they fought the censorship issue based on the First Amendment, and the only reason they won was because although some people deemed their lyrics and their music offensive, the actual music itself was protected under the First Amendment because it was an artistic expression. So I just wanted to put that out there. My little
For sure.
cleanup moment.
For sure. All right. Well, I mean, still, whatever.
I mean, for me though,
She need to be
comments
dealt
were
with.
just her comments were like just incredibly uneducated, right? Quote,
And that's usually what it
race.
is.
So maybe
That's usually what it
Maybe
is.
she doesn't know that Jew. A lot of people don't know that Jewish people, that is a race, though. So maybe she just didn't know no better. You know, I have to
She
assume that
know.
because I didn't know that until.
She
But I don't know.
yeah.
So that leads me to a question for you guys, real quick. Are we putting too much into celebrities and their opinions and things like that, and TV personalities? Like, we shouldn't even care what her opinion is, right?
So are
Like,
you asking? So are you asking? Are we?
we
Does a
as
celebrity opinion hold too much weight?
exactly, right? Like, I would have brushed it off like, I don't expect her to be highly educated on the topic anyway. She's just a TV personality, right? Like, I don't know. If a scholar made this same faux pas, I would be more offended than just a television personality. That's the point I'm trying to get across. Right? Like, we're putting too much weight into the opinions of athletes and entertainers and TV personalities. Like, they're doing their job. They're entertaining us. Fuck their political stance. Fuck their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. That's just my feeling.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
their opinions have too much weight as well. Because what you get is you get a lot of celebrities with uneducated opinions, and they get to talking, and you know what I'm saying, and then the people that follow them run with it without getting the facts. You know what I'm saying,
Bingo.
without understanding the facts behind statements or the other side of the argument. So yeah, okay, for sure, I see that.
Bingo.
I see that.
Bingo.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, let's lead on into the main topic of the week, man.
Me? I'm a straight meat and potatoes man.
This week,
Yeah,
let
man,
me do the introduction to this. Right, as
for
all y'all
sure.
can see, this fool Dre, he really just wanted to talk about this so he could floss his new Rams jersey.
Bro, I done had come on, bro. Don't do me like that. Don't do me. This is a throwback Rams jersey, bro. This ain't even a
he
new
ain't,
joint.
he ain't been
This
in the
ain't even.
league long enough. He ain't been in the league long enough for that to be a throwback. But anyway, uh, it came up that Brian Flores, the fired coach from the Miami Dolphins, is filing a class action lawsuit against the NFL and yeah, and I believe 3 or 4 teams because of their hiring practices. And it sparked a long debate between me and this Rams fan over here.
You
Uh,
better put some respect on my name.
right. So
You put some respect on my name.
yeah, whatever.
So,
So I'll let you go first. How do you like? I know you have strong feelings one way. I'm down the middle, but and then we will want to get our guest Puka's thoughts on this as well.
well,
Go ahead.
let's start with Puka. See what he feels about the whole Brian Flores situation. See how he feels about minority coaches getting the opportunity to coach in sports, period. It doesn't just have to be NFL. It could be baseball. It could be basketball. You know, how do you? What's your take on this?
Well, so I don't follow basketball. I think there are a few black coaches in basketball. I do follow football. I'm a big time Cincinnati Bengals fan. You know, fucking lifelong. Henny can back this shit up. I've known Henny for 20 years.
Yeah,
I've been rocking the Bengals for 20,
yeah,
so super pumped about what's going on.
yeah.
But yeah, one black head coach out of 32 teams is doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I think it's obvious that black coaches don't get the same opportunities. They get fired a lot quicker. Look at, I mean, you can go from, I mean, hell, let's talk about the Rams. Fucking Jeff Fisher. I mean, he was y'all coach for a little bit. That Jeff Fisher is probably the worst fucking coach in the history of the fucking football. He keeps getting jobs. Look at the coach for the Panthers, Matt Rule. Terrible. Still has a job. Um, if you're a black coach, you're on a short. If you finally get the job, your ass is on a short ass leash. The only exceptions to the rule: Mike Tomlin because he's a hell of a winner. Marvin Lewis because, well, he had 16 years. It's Cincinnati, so. But it's I think Brian Flores is courageous. I don't know if it'll win, but it's super courageous. It needs to be done. Black folks, I mean, this is like any other position in fucking America, right? Like we don't get the same opportunities, and when we do get the job, we got to work twice as hard to get the same shit. So yeah, I'm with Brian Flores all the way, 100%.
All right, so go ahead. What you got, Ron?
I just wanted to comment on two things he said. Mike Tomlin, he just lucked up and got a job with an organization that's only had a total of like 5 head coaches in their existence, right? Like they don't fire coaches, right? And I think with the Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati, that was more so with all those off the field incidents happening with the black players on the team. I feel like they was using him. He was going to be the ultimate scapegoat when they was ready to clean up the franchise and you know what I'm saying? So I think that's why they let him stay in place. It will never be said in public forums or anything like that, but I don't know. That's just my opinion on those two. But go ahead, Drake.
So I kind of while you were talking, I kind of just pulled up a couple of the coaches that you were talking about: Matt Rule, Jeff Fisher, right? So Jeff Fisher, he has 22 years in the league, right? 22 years in the league. Out of those 22 years in the league, he's only been to the playoffs 6 times, right? But he gets job after job, whatever. He was with the Rams for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and he was let go, right? He was let go halfway through the season. I don't agree with you when you say black coaches have a shorter leash. I think it also depends on the organization. I think it depends on, what their mindset is. Because I've seen black coaches go through losing seasons and still get the opportunity. Black coaches get fired from one head coaching job and get another. You shaking your head no, Ron. What you
I
got?
mean, all I can say is your logic is flawed, right? Like just simple mathematics tell you that that's not true, right? If there's only 2 head coaches, black head coaches right now, and they get fired and get an opportunity, that's only 2 people get an opportunity out of 32. So the simple numbers don't even add up, right?
So how
Like
many?
if
How many?
I'm just
How
saying,
many?
like
Go
what
ahead.
I'm saying is it's more failure white coaches that get follow up opportunities than it is black based on the numbers of potential coaches there already are. Right? That's a simple probability in mathematics. Tells you that. Go ahead, Puka.
Yeah, to answer the question you're asking, how many should there be, right? Well, if black football players are 70% of the league and we're 13% of the population, well, I'd hope that our representation and coaches would land somewhere in the middle of those two numbers, right? Right now, I think the math says you're at 2 fucking percent. You know what I'm saying? So it isn't equal representation in the world or even in that sport, right? Let's say hockey, for example. I don't think that. I mean, I don't follow hockey, but I don't think they're fucking 70% of hockey players are black. So I ain't tripping that there aren't any black hockey head coaches. But you're not. But it would be strange to have 95% of hockey coaches being black people when no black people are playing hockey. That doesn't make any sense. And so I think there needs to be a representation that's equal to what's out there because you got all these players coming up. I mean, the question is how many assistant coaches are black, and it's a ton of them. It's a significantly more higher percentage of assistant coaches, and that's because coaches hire assistant coaches. The problem isn't the coaches; it's the owners. It's these 32 owners who are these very old, typically very old white men. And you meet a white man who's over 70. I mean, the woman who segregated high school and school is fucking 67. You see what I'm saying? And so 70, you meet a 70-year-old white man, he probably said nigga 3, 4 times in his life. You know?
Right. Go ahead, Drake.
So, so I don't know how many coaches. assistant coaches do you think are actually qualified to run a football team right now? If you were Puka, if you were an owner right now, who would you hire? Out of the pool of black coaches that you know, who would you hire?
Outside of Brian Flores? Eric
Outside,
Bieniemy.
Brian Flores included. Okay, that's one.
Eric Bieniemy, Brian Flores, the coach, the dude, Byron Leftwich. The defensive coordinator for what's the black guy's name? He was just now a head coach though. He got fired a couple years ago. I can think of maybe like 4 or 5 of them.
Okay, all right. So 4 or 5, right? In my opinion, there are only two dudes that I would hand the keys over to my organization, and that's Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy. That's it. Mike Tomlin already has a job. I would not give the keys to my organization to Brian Flores because Brian Flores is not proven, bro. This is his first head coaching position. He wasn't even a defensive coordinator before this. Yeah, you got to start somewhere, but you wasn't even a defensive coordinator before this. So you can't say, "Oh, I'm qualified." Not everybody can be a boss, bro. Not everybody can be a boss, and it didn't work. Lovie Smith, one of the best defensive coaches that's coached in the game. He took the Chicago Bears to the Super Bowl. He didn't win because the offensive side of the ball struggled. You know what I'm saying? For you to hire somebody like that, the situation has to be right.
But see, that shows your bias. As we were talking yesterday about this topic, you were saying you don't prefer defensive-minded coaches to be head coaches, right?
Nope,
So
that's not what I said.
You say you do not prefer
That's
defensive head coaches,
unless the
defensive-minded.
situation is right. Unless the situation is right. Now, if I need a coach, if I'm the GM for the Cincinnati Bengals, and I got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase on the offensive side of the ball, I'm gonna just get an offensive coordinator in. If the Cincinnati Bengals had a coach like Lovie Smith, I guarantee they'll win the Super Bowl, bro. I'm not saying that they won't win the Super Bowl, but I guarantee, but they would have been number one in the AFC because they would have the best defense because Lovie Smith know how to get whatever he needs out of them dudes on the defensive side of the ball, and all you need is for him to find a offensive coordinator that ain't that's he ain't your offensive coordinator ain't got to be no smart dude. You know what I'm saying? Raheem Morris, bro. I can't stand Raheem Morris. I can't stand him. But guess what? He on the offensive side of the ball, you have a fucking genius, and you got Matthew Stafford, bro. You can't deny it. The situation has to be right for you to go higher. If I had Sean McVay as my offensive coordinator and Matthew Stafford as my quarterback, yeah, I might hand the keys to Lovie Smith. I might hand the keys to a defensive-minded coach. Dog, come on, man. It's not me being biased, but the situation has to be right. Mike Singletary proved it to you. Anthony Lynn proved it to you. Come on, bro. Come on.
Go ahead, Poop.
Yeah, so it sounds like the situation has to be right for a black coach. For white coaches, these motherfuckers are. I'm sorry, you might want to edit that out. These cats are like mediocre as fuck, and they keep getting jobs, and they keep getting fired, and they keep getting and you keep hiring these mediocre ass white boys, right? Our coach, Zach Taylor, I've been screaming fire this sorry motherfucker all year. He's terrible, right? He's terrible. He 2 wins away from getting fired, right? He's about to get his ass fired before we made this magical run that we're on right now. For white boys, man, and that's just, it's the same thing as like police brutality. We're not asking cops to change the rules. We just want the same rules as white people. And what black coaches want is the same opportunity to be trash as white coaches. The same opportunity to fucking as Jeff Fisher. We want some Jeff Fisher out here. The opportunity to go to a team, fuck up, get fired, go to another team. Brian Flores in Miami, right? Had terrible quarterback in Tua. You have to admit he's he's bottom 5 in the league, right? Terrible roster, and the owner
facts.
doesn't really want
that's facts.
And he still had two. I think he had 2 out of 3 winning seasons, and I think he tied the last. So he had no losing seasons. Is that? I think that's accurate. How the hell do you get fired? And in comparison, look at the Panthers, Matt Rule, who has 3 of the worst seasons I've seen in a very long time, and he still has a fucking job, right?
So this is how you get fired. This is how you get fired, right? He had in 2020 he was 10-6, and this year he was 9-8. Neither one of those years he made the playoffs. In 2020, his offense was 22nd in the league. His offense this year was 25th in the league. And that's just it. That's how you get fired. You don't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
you win.
Coordinator. That don't necessarily say it's him. Fire the offensive coordinator.
If that's
who hired the offensive coordinator?
The general manager.
No.
Under the coach's direction.
No. Brian Flores brought his offensive coordinator.
But he
Brian Flores
the general manager got to. Well, but if you tie, just like the GM is tied to the coach and the coach is tied to his coordinators, then you got to look within like, hey, brother, you ain't getting it done. It's my job or yours, right? Like self-preservation.
But Brian Flores, look, there's no issue with Miami Dolphins defense. Miami Dolphins defense was solid. Their offense is the issue.
Their quarterback was the issue.
Exactly. Their offense was the issue. Brian Flores, if you have a job, right? You're the manager. Things mess up on your job. Who gets the blame? The man at the top. Shit rolls downhill, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the offensive coordinator ain't coming back. The head coach is out of there, bro. You got to get rid of him. Yeah, even though the offense was trash, they were still 10-6, 9-8, and didn't make the playoffs. Didn't make the playoffs, bro. And what are we playing for here? Are we playing for just to play, or are we playing for championships? Because at the beginning of the season, everybody's goal is to get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, some people's goal might fizzle out in that 4th week. You know what I'm saying? But everyone's goal is to win Super Bowls.
So here's my thing, right? It's bigger than just this one thing because he's not just filing against the Miami Dolphins. He's filing against the teams he went to interview under the Rooney Rule. And this is what me and you began our debate yesterday. I think the Rooney Rule needs to either be completely eliminated or it needs to be updated to today's standard, right? Because, like I was asking you, like the Vikings are interviewing Jim Harbaugh the second time, right? But to be in compliance with the Rooney Rule, they done called in 3 or 4 black guys, knowing that they want to target Jim Harbaugh, right? And so now the black guy, like you said yesterday, has to interview twice as good as Jim Harbaugh because they already got their eyes set. But because they don't want to get in trouble with the NFL, let's bring in the 3 black guys and interview them just so we're in compliance. To me, that's not giving them a fair opportunity. Right? That sucks.
Yeah, but if life was fair, we'd all be rich.
I am rich, bitch.
Come on, bruh. You know what I'm saying? We already know we're 3 black men. Right. We know going in that we have to work twice as hard as the next man just because of how we're viewed. Right? But wait a minute, hold on. Because if you get an interview, right? Let's say the Giants, they interview The Vikings. That's what you use. The Vikings, they interviewed 3 or 4 black people, right? My job going into that interview is to blow your socks off. I'm selling myself to you.
Dude,
it's my job to change your mind. If Jim Harbaugh is your choice, it's my job to change your mind, bro.
But it's virtually impossible to do that, right?
No, it ain't.
That's like, okay. That's
How
like
you think Brian Flores got the job?
They didn't have a Jim Harbaugh as a candidate prior to Brian Flores. Come on, man. They had other people they probably was targeting, but this specific incident is what I can kind of agree with him on. If they have said that they are looking at targeting Jim Harbaugh, someone who said he didn't want to leave Michigan, because remember I told you in week 15 that the Bears might go after Harbaugh because he used to be a quarterback. And he was like, "No, he's not leaving Michigan," and he said he's not leaving Michigan. And now all of a sudden he's interviewing 2 times with the Vikings. Like the Rooney Rule is a fucking joke. That's all I'm saying. It needs to be updated or done away with. It's just smoke and mirrors at this point. Go ahead.
Well, breaking news. Hold on, before you say that, breaking news: the Minnesota Vikings are expected to hire Rams offensive coordinator Kevin O'Connell as the head coach. So Jim Harbaugh ain't even getting a job.
He probably wanted too much money. Look at how John Gruden got to the Raiders. Look at what they offered this man that had been out of coaching for how many years? Almost a decade. And they offered him a guaranteed 10-year, $100 million contract. How many black coaches? If Mike Tomlin, here's the question: if Mike Tomlin left Pittsburgh tomorrow, goes away and goes on Monday Night Football for 5 years, do you think he'd get the same kind of offer from a team?
Yeah,
I do not think so.
You want to know why? You want to know why? Hold on. Let me. I'll let Puka answer. What do you think, Puka? You think Mike Tomlin will get an offer like that?
Who? Mike? Yeah, it's Mike Tomlinson, but he's a albatross, man. He's a special case, man. I don't think he helps out any. He actually hurts arguments because he's Mike Tomlin, one of the most successful coaches in the history.
Right. You know? So I mean, how many black coaches can? Well, hold on. How many black coaches? What black coach you know that can get that John Gruden level of contract? Mike Tomlin, Tony Dungy.
But none of them have been offered that. They had the opportunity to offer Tony Dungy that same type of John Gruden deal.
Tony Dungy doesn't want to coach anymore.
John Gruden said he didn't want to coach no more. And they threw 10 years, $100 million at him. Throw 10 years, $100 million at Dungy and see what the hell he say.
Yeah, okay. What you say, Puka?
Well, they had to throw him that because he had a pretty good deal with TV. He was making a shit ton of money on TV. I mean, he was a very, very, very popular TV person. I mean, he was great on TV. We didn't know he was a closet racist and shit. You know, talking about niggerless, rubberless, like that. We didn't know that. So
I got another question for you, Hen. Let's switch sports real quick. Major League Baseball, the new hiring practices have been getting these recently retired players with no coaching experience and giving them head coaching jobs, right? But I can't name one of them that's black, right? And
baseball is different,
but it's the same. It's the same principle that Brian Flores is saying. If the majority of the baseball players nowadays are going to be Latin players, and they're trying to increase the number of African American players, right? There's not many Latin American coaches. We discussed that as well. Like the Marlins hired Ozzie Guillen to try to get the Cuban population to come to the ballpark. And that didn't work out because he talked about Castro.
Right. So I want to go back to the Rooney Rule that you was talking about, because what you said, it needs to be updated or it needs to be taken away. If you take away the Rooney Rule, now you have no obligation to interview a minority coach. The Rooney Rule. I mean, so what would you say if you want to update it? What are you going to say? Well, you have to interview at least 4 candidates.
No, I would go back. No, I would go back to something Puka said earlier in the podcast, where the percentage of head coaches should reflect some percentage of the players in the league and the state of the country, right?
Right. So you said
So if it's 70,
okay. So
yes,
we're 13% of the population, and the
78%
NFL
of
is
players,
78%. So you want
yes.
anywhere between 14 and 77% of the league to be
No, no, not
African American coaches?
no, a proportional. You know what I'm saying? Proportional to
Well, he
that,
said
right?
anywhere between that number.
But I'm
So
just saying, it's not between that number. That's a range. It's a number that you can come up with mathematically that might be 22%. It might be 15%. You know what I'm saying? It's a number that you can come up with. It's not a range between 13% of the population and 78% of the league. It's the mathematical formula that you would have to figure out. But it should be more than 2 coaches. That's all I'm saying.
So
okay, so
right
can
now
we
it's
go
3%.
ahead?
Right now it's
Okay.
3%, right? One coach, 32 teams is 3%. We're 13 fucking percent of the population. So if you just had 5 head coaches, you're
If
at
you have,
13%.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so what I think they need to do, because you can't tell somebody, because NFL teams can be like, well, why me? Then why me? Then why me? Right? So now you got to incentivize them differently, right? So possibly give them, you hire a black head coach. Now you get an additional draft pick, or you get an additional draft pick between rounds 3 and 4, or something like that. You see what I'm saying? You have to incentivize. You have to incentivize some white people to do the right thing sometimes, right? Because people don't change for change, for shits and giggles, right? Change doesn't happen because people want to do the right thing, right? You got to incentivize people to do the right thing sometimes, and just obviously the Rooney Rule isn't working, and forcing them to interview additional candidates isn't going to help, because that shit ain't going to do nothing, because it's not doing nothing. It's not doing anything now. If you know who you're going to
Exactly.
pick, and you interview one black person, well, if I have to interview 2 black people, I still know who the fuck I'm going to pick. I just got to interview 2 black people. So fuck
Exactly.
that. You got to find a different way to incentivize them to, do the right thing.
So
And to make it, like you said earlier, like make it where these inept white coaches get multiple opportunities, right? Make it where if a black head coach has one failure, you know what I'm saying, make it where it's not at the end of the world for him, right? Like me and him discussed yesterday, Chip Kelly. Like Chip Kelly came to the Eagles fucked up, and he still was getting other offers, and then ran back to college, right? Like I don't know.
so I kind of just went through like a list of coaches, right? I think in 2009 we had like 6 black head coaches. 6 black head coaches. In 2008, I think it was maybe like 5. So we've been there before. So we can't say, "Oh, this is systemic racism," and they don't want black coaches. Nah, the black coaches are getting their chance. You know what I'm saying? Lovie Smith, he was in Chicago. They fired him after a losing season, but they didn't fire him. After a winning season. I'm sorry. After a winning season, he went to Tampa Bay and got his head smashed. You know what I'm saying? And he's still coaching in the league. You know what I'm saying? Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis was with the Cincinnati Bengals for 16 years. 16 years, and he was only in the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times and never made it past the first round.
But Cincinnati's a special case because they were fucking terrible. Marvin Lewis saved that franchise from purgatory. So we gave him all those years. I mean, it was Cincinnati. So they did bring he took our franchise from a terrible place to respect. Then they fired him. Then we lost all those games. Now we're great. So
Or his last 3 seasons, they were losing seasons. You know what I'm saying? But that could have been your quarterback situation. I believe that Carson
I mean,
Palmer
and we
wasn't
had
there. He had, what was that?
Andy Dalton. Andy
Yeah,
Dalton.
yeah. Well, Andy Dalton. Yeah, Andy
Yeah.
Dalton. So yeah. So, but Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell was the coach, and then he went to Detroit. He had one winning season with Detroit. His next 3 seasons, I'm sorry, I take that back. He had 3 winning seasons with Detroit. He went 11-5, 7-9, 9-7, 9-7. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was also in a tough ass division.
But
You know what I'm saying?
if you notice the cities you have named, it would be very interesting to look at the demographics, right? Like Chicago, the demographics of blacks in Chicago, the demographics of Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? Like Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain cities where you wouldn't even expect them to,
Okay.
think about hiring.
Well, New York Jets. Herm
Yeah.
Edwards coached there for 8 years. Dude, he had 1, 2, 3, 4 winning seasons. 4 winning seasons. And he got a coaching job in Arizona State. A head coaching job at Arizona State. So we can't say that black coaches aren't getting their chances. You are getting your chances. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm not going to hand the keys over to my franchise to you. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what we're saying though. That's not what I'm saying, right? Like I don't put the blanket of racism on things just willy-nilly, right? My thing is about updating the Rooney Rule because it just seems like it's one of those things that's just done to be done, right? It's like a layup line. Don't nobody really care about the layup line before the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you came to see the game, right? Like, come on, man. It's
Okay. I mean, so look, I'm a firm believer in earning your position. You have to earn
yeah.
it, right? You got to come up through the ranks. Mike Tomlin came up through the ranks. He's having a great deal of success. Tony Dungy came up through the ranks. Is having a great deal of success. You know what I'm saying? Tampa Bay didn't win a Super Bowl until he left Tampa Bay, but he built that team. John Gruden won that championship.
He got all the credit for Tony
He got
Dungy's
all the
team.
credit. It's just like Mark Jackson. We talk about the
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr. People forgot about Mark Jackson. He built that team. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA, yeah, we have a lot more black coaches, but then you'll run into that coach like Mike Singletary. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes back to not everybody's gonna be a boss. You gotta know your role. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I wouldn't hand the keys over to my franchise to one of these dudes, not named Brian Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy, or Mike Tomlin, unless I got my offensive style.
Who
So
the
can we
fuck is
agree on a
Brian
couple?
Daboll? Who the fuck is he?
Who?
He's the dude from the Giants. Who the fuck is he?
I
Brian
don't know.
Daboll.
What you said? Brian Daboll. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never heard of him.
See, and that's the point, Henny.
Right.
They hand the keys over to these motherfucking white coaches who you ain't never heard of. They ain't got to prove shit. They don't have to be exceptional. They get chances, and that's the point that I'm making.
Oh, so
Like
Brian
black folks got to be
Daboll.
goddamn superheroes.
All
Matt
right, so
LaFleur got the Green Bay job. That was a highly touted position. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the league when he took over from McCarthy in Green Bay. And here's some unknown, unproven guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets the Green Bay job. Like, come on.
well, I
Come on.
mean,
Zach
Matt
Taylor,
LaFleur is. I mean, come
quarterbacks
on.
coach.
Yeah. But so let me go back to Brian Daboll. So Brian Daboll is an offensive coordinator, right? He was an offensive coordinator for Cleveland. He was an offensive coordinator for Miami, Kansas City in 2012. He was an offensive coordinator in obviously Buffalo. Buffalo offense is amazing, bro. Buffalo's offense is amazing. Would I give him the keys over Brian Flores, knowing that the offense is amazing? Yes, I would. The Giants' defense isn't bad. They have a nice front seven. It's their offense that's stagnant, bro. It's their offense. They can't figure out what to do with Daniel Jones.
Dude, Dre. I'm gonna say this. Like, I agree with all of the stats and everything you're putting up, but I think you're missing the point. We're not getting the opportunities, right? It's like you want the opportunity to be a failure. You want, you know what I'm saying, or you got to prove, like you got to have a 14-3 season in consecutive years to keep your job if you're on a 3-year contract, right? Like that's the only thing. I'm not saying that some of these guys have gotten opportunities and haven't been enough, but it's like, where are the other unknowns? Where are the unknown candidates that we don't know about? Like they pull these unknown white dudes out of the air. Why aren't they pulling unknown blacks? Right? Like you said, all of the guys that had some success in the NFL started off under another white coach as a coordinator. Right? Like
They
that's all
came
I'm
up offensive. They came up offensive assistants, quarterback coaches,
yes.
then offensive coordinators, dude. That's how these dudes are moving up. It's
But
all
I'm
about
saying, but then there's
relationships.
right, but then they're still, but they're not pulling them from the lower levels, the college levels, like they are the white candidates. That's all I'm saying is like we
So
want fair opportunities, and
Matt LaFleur
I'm
came
not
from college.
exactly.
He started at a
I,
D2
What about
school.
Eric Bieniemy?
Then he moved on to Central Michigan.
mhm.
You said what?
What's the excuse
What'd
for
you say,
Eric
Puka?
Bieniemy? What's the excuse for Eric
I have
Bieniemy?
no
He's
excuse for that.
he's
I have
offense
absolutely no
coordinator,
excuse for Eric
greatest offense
Bieniemy.
ever, right?
Yeah, I have no excuse for Eric Bieniemy. I have no excuse for it. I don't understand
Now,
why he hasn't received the job. I don't get it.
now,
Maybe,
I would
but we
argue
don't know
that
how he's interviewing, bro. We don't know how he's
we
interviewing.
know how he's coaching.
Right. I
Yeah,
was about to say
and that's true.
some people aren't practice players. Some players aren't practice players, but you put them on the field and they perform. Some people can't interview, but they can do the job a hell of a lot better than somebody that you put in that same
Yeah,
position.
but I
Then there's
mean,
people that can interview well, and you put them in a position and they suck.
and you
Chip Kelly's
find out they
probably
suck. Yeah,
Chip
you find
Kelly's
out that they
probably
suck.
an amazing interviewer,
Yeah,
right? Like
he's an X's and O's guy. Yeah, he's an
yeah.
X's and O's guy. You know what I'm saying? But you got to get these organizations, these GMs to look past that. You know what I'm saying? The Chicago Bears just hired the first black GM this year, drafted their first black quarterback last year, and then this comes out. You know what I'm saying? So now the NFL is going to slap more stickers on the helmet. You know what I'm saying?
So,
It's in.
but
Go
to
ahead,
be
man.
honest, as I told you yesterday, I don't see this going any further than just this one news media cycle because it takes 25 people to sign on for a class action lawsuit. So, are you willing to risk that opportunity if you one of these up and coming black coordinators that will
Well,
potentially have a chance in a few years?
nope. But
Because
apparently
if
Hugh
this
Jackson
thing,
is. Hugh Jackson is because he's bitter. Like, bro, you messed up two
yeah,
organizations, and then you want to talk about well, they offer me money, bro. Your first year with the Cleveland Browns, you went 1-15. Your second year, you went 0-16. Don't tell me about taking the bag, bro. Don't tell me about taking the bag because that was your choice. You didn't have to take the bag. You could have did the same thing Brian Flores did. No, I'm gonna continue to win. You already paying me. But no, you went 1-15 your first season, 0-16 your second season. You expect to get another head coaching job? No, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. The thing that I have, the thing that I have to say, and I'm and we can go ahead and end it. But I think that black coaches are getting the opportunities. I can't make an excuse for you about Eric Bieniemy and why he hasn't been offered a position yet. I don't understand it. That dude, it seems like he's a great offensive mind, and he's learning under one of the greatest offensive minds in the game, which is Andy Reid. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why Eric Bieniemy hasn't taken a job. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's been offered a position and he didn't take it because he didn't like the situation. So I don't know. What you got, Puka?
My last question for you is: how many more years do we have to have one or two black coaches in the NFL before you say, "Oh, this might be a problem"?
Good question.
I don't think it's a problem. I honestly don't
No,
think it's a
I
problem
see you
because
don't
we've
think it's a
had.
problem now, but moving forward, let's say for the next 5 years, they don't hire any other coaches but Mike Tomlin and maybe one other guy. How long can we have this low representation before you say, man, maybe there might be an issue here?
I don't see it as an issue. I don't, bro. You know what I'm saying? To me, because I mean, and what people want to say is, oh man, you got all these white dudes, these organizations, these football businesses, they're ran by white folks. Yeah, for sure. All right, for sure. That's passed down from family to family. You know what I'm saying? Until we get black representation, I mean, so you can get black representation and they still not gonna hire a black coach. You know what I'm saying? So we can't say if you have a qualified black man who can be a head coach, he should get the position. I do believe that. But I'm not saying just give these dudes the position just to give it to him. Me, I can't stand Raheem Morris. Can't stand him, bro. I was hoping he'd get a head coaching job somewhere else so we can go hire somebody else. I would take Brian Flores over Raheem Morris as my defensive coordinator because Brian Flores, he can control the defense. You know what I'm saying? But as my head coach, no. I'm no. I honestly don't see it as a problem. And I say that because I don't think there are any qualified candidates who can take you to the promised land outside of Lovie Smith if the situation is right. Brian Leftwich, Eric Bieniemy. Those are the only four coaches I think should be head coaching right now. Those are the only four black head coaches I think should be head coaching right now. Off the top of my head, those are only four. Let's not forget
Can you
Raheem
see
Morris.
how?
Raheem Morris was on the coaching staff in Atlanta when they blew that 28-3 lead to the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
But can you not see how you are maintaining a double standard though? Because yeah, there are no super great black coaches out there, but these white boys who getting hired, we ain't never heard of them motherfuckers either. Yeah, we ain't heard of them bitches
Thank
either.
you.
And so
That's
these
because
guys
that's
aren't
because
like fucking
that's because
superstars.
okay, bet. All right, I hear what you're saying, but the
Mm-hmm.
dude, the Brian DeBall dude, Buffalo's offense been rotating on all cylinders for the last 2-3 years.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen. You put Josh Allen on Miami,
Yeah.
right? You can get the same shit. Get the
No,
fuck out of here. Josh Allen's a superstar.
no, no, no.
A good
You put
quarterback will
Josh
change
Allen on Miami, no.
you put
You put Josh Allen on Miami.
what's the quarterback? Hold on. You put
Matthew Stafford?
what's this guy's name? No. Who
Which
Matthew
team?
Stafford replaced? Your team.
Jared Goff.
You
Yeah,
put
Jared
Jared
Goff.
Goff on the Rams, y'all in the Super Bowl? No, because y'all
No.
weren't last year, motherfucker. Quarterback is important.
Yeah,
Very
right.
important. You put
Very, but
Josh Allen
I said that. I said that the
you put
quarterback is
Josh
very
Allen on
important in the
Miami.
situation.
You put Josh Allen on Miami and Brian Daboll isn't Brian Daboll, right? Or is he? The
Well, it
offense
depends
not
on
gonna be humming
the
like it is.
quarterback that he has. Well, I mean, it depends on the offense
You
that he
you
has.
you you flip quarterbacks and you put what's your boy Tua, who's terrible, in Buffalo, and Brian Daboll is just an offensive coordinator with a terrible fucking quarterback. Like Brian Flores is a head coach with a terrible fucking quarterback. But the point I'm making is this, man. You're over here saying that there's only 4 or 5 black head coaches who are just are star studded enough and who are just rah rah rah, and that's fine, that's cool. But again, these other white boys ain't making no noise either. What's happening in this trend? Everybody's looking for the new Sean McVay, right? Look at the coach for that you just now
Uh huh.
mentioned.
Yeah, which is true.
They all fit the
Matt
same
LaFleur.
mold. Zach Taylor's the same thing. They're all 30. They're under 40-year-old good-looking white boys, right? For the
And
most
they're
part.
having
That's what.
success.
No,
And
that's how Matt Nagy got the job at the Bears, is because he was under Andy Reid. And you see how that fucking turned out. He ruined one first round quarterback and damn near was about to ruin another one. Like, because he was under Andy Reid, he was given that opportunity. Right? Like, come on, man. And to answer the question Puka posed to you earlier, Dre, it's when the Rams ain't in the Super Bowl. That's when he'll see it as a problem. As long as the Rams
no,
winning right
come
now, he
on,
don't care.
bro.
He don't care
Come
about
on,
anything
bro.
else going on
Come
in the
on,
NFL.
bro. Don't
He
do
don't
me.
give
Don't
a
do me like
damn.
that.
He
Don't do
don't
me
care.
like that, bro.
As long
Don't do
as
me
the
like
Rams,
that, bro.
as long as the Rams are relevant, all the rest of that
Nah,
shit
don't
don't
do
matter.
me.
I don't
Don't
really
do me
care who
like that,
y'all.
bro.
The whole
Don't
league
do
can
me
be
like that,
black
bro.
coaches as long as
Don't
the
do me.
Rams in the Super Bowl.
Don't do me like that, bro.
I'm
Don't
trying to
do me
protect.
like that.
Hey, Dre. I'm trying to protect you from
Don't
being
do
called the
nah, bro.
coon again on social media,
Hey, bro, don't do me
dog.
like that, bro. Don't do me like
Yeah,
that. I'm just saying, look, bro. If you can give me some quality coaches, you know what I'm saying, who can give me results, I'm for it. I just said Byron Leftwich. He's not
but you
proven.
keep.
He's not proven, but I'm saying give him an opportunity because what he's done. Look at what he
But
did with
you're
Jameis Winston, bro.
you're missing the point of what Puka and I are saying. He shouldn't have to. They're pulling these other white guys out of thin air, right?
No,
Like,
they're
why
not.
can't they
No, they're
go?
not.
Why
No, they're
can't they
not.
go to a college and pull a black guy from the college ranks like they do these guys? Right? Like,
Bro,
it's a
bro.
cookie cutter situation. The same thing is happening in Major League Baseball, right?
Matt
You
LaFleur's
want these same.
come on, bro. No. Matt LaFleur's been coaching since '03. Dayball's been coaching since 1997. Come on, man. Zach Taylor has been coaching since 2008. Come on, man. I'm not gonna let
So
you ride with
that's
that
what
one.
I'm saying. But what? Oh, we lost Puka. What we saying is, what I'm saying is, you can't reach out. There's got to be black college coaches in the ranks that are uh in the same vein, right? That's been coaching that long.
Matt Rule has been coaching since 1998. So they're not just pulling these dudes out of nowhere. They're not just pulling
That's,
these dudes
but
out of
I'm just saying there has to be other black candidates like that. So I don't know.
nowhere. I guess, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we
Like,
can get Puka back so we can do our hot seat segment. Um, yeah, so we can do our hot seat segment. Oh, we lost. We
he
lost him.
gone.
So,
Well,
all right. So we can still do our hot seat segment. Oh, here he's coming back. We must have lost him for a second. So, but I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? It's these dudes have been coaching for years. Yeah. So these dudes have been coaching for years, and it's not like just they pulled them off the street and said, "Hey, come coach my team."
what
No, these
we're
dudes have
not.
been in Come on, bro. These dudes
I'm
have been
not
in
saying that.
organizations. Yeah, that's what
There's
you said. That's
no.
exactly what you said.
What I'm saying is there's black dudes that they can go reach that's been coaching for years that they
Yeah.
can go
So I
reach
mean,
for.
okay.
They're not giving them guys the same opportunity. They're not reaching for them same guys, right? They're not reaching for them
Byron
guys.
Left, bro. Byron Leftwich, bro. He started out as an intern during spring training, whatever they call it.
Preseason,
Yeah,
training
preseason.
camp,
He's
yeah,
with the Arizona training
OTAs,
camp.
yeah.
He started out as an intern with the Arizona Cardinals, bro. And now he's the he's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator. You mean to tell me they didn't give him a chance?
You know, the only reason he got
He was drafted in '03.
the only reason he got the ability to be an intern was because he played in the league. I'm saying, like Puka's saying, go reach down in these college ranks and go grab. Maybe it is time to inject. Like when everybody started going to the West Coast offense, right? It changed the league. So maybe if you reach down into some of these HBCUs, you and pull some from there, you could change how the game is played again. Or you know what I'm saying? Like remember when Lamar Jackson came in the league and they said he'll never be successful. Not everybody want a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, right? And people are starting to tailor their offenses to quarterbacks of that ilk. Like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. Everything's fluid. I don't know. I'm done. I think you're just not hearing us again
No,
because the Rams
I
are
hear you.
relevant again.
Nah, bro,
So
that ain't got nothing to do with it. But I mean, you can. Do you know who David Culley is?
not at all. Sound like a kid I
He the
beat up in
head coach.
fifth grade.
He the, boy, stop. But he the head coach of the Houston Texans. Head coach of the Houston Texans. He ain't been fired. What was his record this year? 4-13. He ain't been fired.
But their
He's getting another
quarterback was just a
chance.
massage parlor.
Well, that wasn't him. That was his quarterback. That ain't
Well,
had nothing to do with him.
he
That
has
argument is flawed, bro.
if they replace Watson and he has another bad season, he's out.
But guess
I
where he
put money
started?
on that.
He started in college in 1978. He started in college in 1978. You ain't heard of him. Just because you ain't heard of these dudes don't mean they not getting recognition in these circles. That doesn't mean that, bro. I hear what y'all saying. I hear what you saying. But dog, these dudes, it's about the interview. It's about the pedigree. It's about where they come from. Sean McVay got a job because of who his grandfather was. Kyle Shanahan got a job because of who his father was. And guess what? These dudes are having success. They're having success. All right. Well, with that said, let's go into the hot seat. All right. Well, the hot seat, man, I got 5 questions for you. You know what I'm saying? Poker, these questions are for you. You answer them how you see fit, man. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever comes to the top of your head, you just answer. All right. All
Before
right.
you do
First,
that,
what's up?
we want to thank you for joining us, man, and you will
Absolutely.
definitely be welcome back. Just in case these questions get a little petty and out of hand, we want to thank you ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I know how this dude is. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Nah,
thank
man.
you. Yeah.
Nah. I got you, man. All right. So the first question, man. What is the most ridiculous thing you've convinced someone to believe? Wait, what? How the hell did you do that? Hey, what you got, Rob? What you got to say to that, man? What you got to say to that?
Man, I can't even follow up that. I was about to. I was gonna say I created a word back in college, and I had people running around using it because I convinced them the definition was really good, right? And I'll tell you the word. The word is flubrigant, right? It's like
Oh,
anything
hey,
that's
I
out.
remember that. Yeah, but
Yes,
it's a real
anything.
word though.
No, it's not.
No,
I
it's
made
not.
it
I
up.
remember we
See,
talked about that. I remember we talked about that. I was like, what? You had me. I was looked it up. I was like, man, what? What is this? But oh yeah, lubricate. I forgot all about that. All right, man. All right.
All right, next question. Sorry.
Next question, bro.
It's like a ridiculous act, right? Like, or or just anything stupid, right? Like if you do something that's ridiculous. Exactly. Exactly. And it sounds
Lubricate.
good. Why you being
Lubricate.
so
For
flubricant?
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All
Yeah.
right, for sure. Next question, man. Next question. So you are chosen to make first contact with aliens. What message do you send them? What? Hey, his message to aliens, hey, give us a pass, bro.
Right. We on your side.
hey, hey, we riding with you. These motherfuckers crazy.
Don't befriend them. They gonna turn on you.
For sure. All right, man. All right. Oh my God, bro, I'm in tears. All right, man. Next question. What is something about you that sounds fake but is actually 100% true? What was that? Was that Puka? Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, when he first told me his name was Cranston, bro, I was like, what? Like what? Like yeah, okay, all right, for sure, for sure, for sure. All right, what about you, Ryan?
I don't know. I can't think of nothing off the top of my head. Uh, yeah,
All right, for sure. All
yeah,
right, for
yeah.
sure.
I
We'll
get
move
it.
on. We'll
Move
move
on.
on. All right, man. You just received vanity plates for your car. What do they say? For sure. 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 Hey, all right. What about you, Ryan?
Get away. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that matter. Exactly. Yeah. Just get away.
What?
I want you to read it. Get away from me. The aliens coming. Get away. I got
All
5
right.
kids. The aliens coming. Get
All
away.
right.
Stop
For
being
sure. For
lubricant.
sure. For sure. All right, man. All right. What's your biggest pet peeve, man? Hey, hold on. Wait, hold on, man. Hold on.
Oh Lord!
Shit, man, hold on, man.
Headshot, bitch! You just got owned.
What you trying to say? Hey, hold on, man. This ain't what this game is for. Man,
Shots fired. Shots
hold on,
fired.
man. We out of here.
Ah.
We out of here. We out of here, man.
Oh
You've
man.
been listening to Dre and Run's Augmented Reality.